yes. Okay, good. All right. Did you make any further progress that I missed in an email on the frame?
So I've played around with it. I rewatched all the videos. Essentially what I was going to ask, because I feel like at the moment I attempt it, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. And it's just like, essentially what I was going to ask is it possible to essentially just like work through almost the basics of that build?
Sure. Yeah.
And then I can just like have like almost like a reference to go and have it side by side, because I think otherwise I'm doing something and doing it wrong. I'm sucking at it for 2 hours and then we go over that. And if I maybe watch like a perfect build, and then I can
I totally understand. It's yeah, totally not a problem. Let me just make a new layer for this. And you know what I should do is share my screen. I always think that I've shared my screen when I haven't. Okay, there we go. Okay. There's my infinite mirror, and we're just making a new layer just to.
This laptop is really taking a piss.
How old is it?
No, it's not that old. It's just I don't understand. It's a new MacBook Pro M1. It says it's charged. It says it's charging. So we'll go with that.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully it's just that. Because if not, that's a pain. Yeah. I can put there. Okay.
I can see it.
Okay, so.
Anyway.
Sorry, can you see it or no?
1 second.
Or can you see my screen?
Switch over to a different Wi-Fi. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay. I'm gonna do this. Let's get this style there. This. And go for. Oh, it does them all. That's confusing. Okay. Wasn't quite expecting that, but all right. I was just looking at the frame itself and like what it's doing, but it's very much this. Let me think about this real quick. So that's just coming across, but then where is this going? I mean, I know where it's going, but
because last time you showed me how to build like essentially the nose curve and the back of it, the offset, and sort of the issue I was doing was I wasn't building it as a complete surface, which you sort of said that fillet would have just caused an absolute nightmare, and just essentially had too much geometry. But I was a bit confused of like how would you go about building the temple onto the main body?
Oh right, okay. So yeah, like I'm just looking at this guy, like just really I'm looking at this sort of triangular back surface, and I know what it is. It's just is it ever built like that? Not really. So I guess on one hand the question is like how accurately to this drawing do you want to model it? I mean, I assume pretty accurately, but like when I look at things like this, I'm like, okay. It's like it's sort of built up like that, and I'm trying to think in real terms, like what really this is the curve. This innermost curve is I would say the air quotes the problem, because it's like this back face. This is sort of facing kind of up at a 45-ish is what I'll say, and then it sort of fades. A little dodgy on the Illustrator work there, but anyways, Illustrator's not going to do that. So and it just kind of fades and then nothing-ish. So okay, well, I'll keep that in mind that there's a slight carving. So We were here. We were going to build. Oh, we built that. Oh, this guy there. So. Okay, so I'd say I can't remember why we had that. Oh, those are the outside and the inside. Okay, we're building that. Okay, so you want to like building that so it leans down and that so it pops up. So let me just get rid of that. So if I just pick some of these curves here. Okay. So if you remember, like from the side view, right, it's like if you just go from here to here, it's just like straight. If you lock from there, that's flat, right? So
Yeah.
if I turn these points on, like from the back view, just like sort of taking these and like sort of scooted them up a little bit and in a little bit. If I turn either of these on, you kind of see it, right? It's like I just sort of scooted some things up and in just to give it a little bit of that's unexpected. Okay. What's the rest of that? So let's start from there. I'm not sure why that's in pieces, but okay. Oh, either way, I know I want to go from this guy, this lower eye wire, to this upper. Hold on, just isolate those guys. I'm going to just copy paste. This guy red.
Do you have a coloring system, or is it all just very random?
It's fairly random. It's on the lowest level. It's just to make it visually so I can see what I'm like matching to or what I'm aiming for. Because it's like I'm trying to make this. It's just like this red curve. For some reason, I cut it into pieces or some shit. But it didn't go all the way over. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually I'm doing a half millimeter. I don't think this is a full millimeter. Let's see. Oh, full millimeter. Okay. So I move everything up 1 and probably over 2, 4, 5. And predictable at least. Offset. Okay. And then this guy. That's pretty much correct. Something like that. It's a rough offset. So don't need this red curve anymore. I shouldn't really need this curve either. Except I wanted to do that with that. I'm going to pick this one and just make it green just because I know that's the one I want to keep. And I'm going to try and project. So if I'm right, looks like the white curves in front of the green curve. But I really want them to just match up from the back. So I turn on this project thing. So if I snap this onto here, it's still back in space. Versus if I hadn't done that, I take a point and I move it. It's going to like.
What did you just wait? What have you just done there?
This project thing down here.
Okay.
So it just kind of keeps it in the plane. So like if you watch this point here, it's just going to move down just a little bit. So it's like if I project on, what I do, so you can see what's actually happening. If I said this is basically the view that I'm in, I'm looking at it directly from the back. So if I hit project, if I have this project on and I match this guy to this guy, it's just going to move there. It's going to kind of stay in the same plane that it's on.
Okay.
If the project turned off, it's actually going to snap back like actually to it, which we don't really want. We just want it to be like kind of aligned to it from the back. So that's what project is.
Is that essentially so when you loft it, it's a cleaner?
It's just to keep these guys, any of these points on the green curve in the same plane. So that, yeah, and I'm just matching this so that they'll, yeah, I'll have that sort of angle to the lofted surface when I loft this guy. Just a second, I think that's everybody. Okay, don't need that one. You want that one. Oh, that looks fucking horrible. Why? Because this one's broken. Oh, dude. Okay, what did we do? This is part of the. That's confusing me. What is happening here? Where are all the curves going? Come on. Yeah.
We're in.
I don't know what any of this is. That's for. Fucking pieces of stuff floating around. I for sure don't know what that is. That's angle.
Feel free to just delete anything that's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's just like sometimes I have too many things. If I'm not in the same session, I'll for sure forget what it's there for. I know what that's all there for. Okay, so. Okay. But that needs to be back here. And I still deleted the fucking front. Hold on. Okay, they're like in the wrong places. So I'm just going to do this. That. All right, so this one needs to move here. This one needs to move. Hope that is still fucking wrong somehow. So you move there, please. You can fuck off and die. This is still all wrong. Okay, I'm at a loss. So here I'm just gonna do this. Fuck you guys. And then we're gonna take this. That's the outer surface. Front. Check loose. Onto there. Thank you for playing. Good God. Oh, that was hard. That's what it's supposed to be from the front. Awesome. Copy paste. I'll take this one. Check loose. I think that is not what I want. Whoa. Hey now. So pull that off. Trim that. Get this in the front. Get loop onto the. Okay. These points. Okay. I'm also going to do like, just so I can visually see, I'm going to offset it like 1. Make this whatever color, just so I can see it. Sort of match that. Perfect. Just close. Fucking hell. Because this is, that's why okay. I have 2 unbroken surfaces. Awesome. Just gonna redo all this because I don't remember what we did or didn't do. The upper part actually looks fine. We are on the front. Curves.
Have you got rid of your tools on your left-hand side? Your toolbar. Yeah. Do you get it?
Yeah. I don't use that. I don't need it. I just have all my
aliases set up.
All my aliases. Yeah, those are what I use instead. So either one of these from the front, check loose. And this one has a 2. Okay. Surface. Okay, that's the back. View. Up.
Do you tend to? This is because I was looking back at the old video earlier. The you did all of this quite manually and rough, the offsetting. Do you tend, when you normally do it, do you tend to do it like a bit more thorough in terms of like offset the curve loosely and then?
Yeah, like I'll just, I mean, I can offset this one, like I'll just offset it exactly.
Yeah.
This guy index has a bunch of points on it. I'll just make it whatever color, just so I know that it's not a real curve, it's just a matching curve basically.
And essentially you're lining up the loose one with the.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm with you.
I think the technical term for that is fairing a curve. When you match a curve to another curve, they call it fairing for some reason. 3, 2. Well under a millimeter of difference, so it's definitely fine. Well, really, for what anybody's doing at any point, this is more than enough accuracy. And this one, it wants this endpoint wants to stay the same, so it has to deviate a little bit. That's totally fine and normal. Okay, so that's the blue guy. I can just leave there as the offset. Okay, so now if we off from here to here, we should get a happy. What's happening?
You've got
still with the fucking broken curves. We're just still playing the same goddamn fucking game. Project loose from the front onto that unbroken. Can we just get on the same page about that? Great. Those look same. Lock. You to you. That's where we're in the market for. Fuck me, that was more than I was hoping it would be. Okay. Front surface. You live there. Awesome. Okay, so then I think this is the curve that we don't really need.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can lock. Fine. Nope, not fine, because one of these is surely broken. Because of this, who's the asshole? That's the asshole. Okay, so from the front, projecting it loose onto the back surface. Awesome. That blue. And okay. So these one. Okay. Back. Save. Okay. Locked from there to there. That guy. Okay, so our most of these are there. Put some right there. So then we just want to sort of patch these guys back in. So this. So the good thing about Rhino is it's not like Illustrator in as much as it will not. It's very accurate. And so if like you can just hide that. So like even though the surface has been here, I've saved this to version 4 and all this. It's like it's going to join just fine. If Rhino is good at that, it would be blue here if it wasn't joined. This bright blue. So that's good. And then from the back, so take this and that, and join this to this. Good. I think we need to do the same with this. So like this. Adding. Okay. And this guy, plug. Right back in. Good. Okay, so that. So now, to solidify this guy, or to make it like join the surface, what I usually do. Don't think I have anything in here, right? Right. So usually I have like kind of a surface 1 and a surface 2 layer within whatever part of the frame. The surface 1 is like my kind of working surfaces. So in this case, actually what I would do, because I know I'm going to do this, is I'm going to turn these guys. With these guys, I'm going to turn their points on. Q, nope. Q to, okay. Pick all the front ones. I'm going to do the same here. And I'm going to turn on move VVN, which is just NN. Always want to pick along control polygon. And I'm going to slide these in the, not the red, but the opposite of the red, so the negative. So red is U, so the negative U direction.
Yeah.
That's okay. We'll do them one at a time, not a problem. So I'll just slide it that way, just so it overextends the surface. And then here, step 1, we're going to flip the direction. Supposed to be fine. Target problem.
When you flip, because I know you pointed this out last time, it doesn't impact the curve structure. It just changes what's top bottom.
Yeah, basically, if I type DIR for direction, basically flipping direction changes the direction of this white arrow, which is the U. So you got U, V, and N.
Yeah.
That corresponds to red is U, green. Sorry, green is V, and N is normal, the white one.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like if this doesn't really matter for what we're doing, but I would actually think about like on the axis of the grid here, like X tends to go to the right, like the positive X or U direction is really this way. It's like first I would swap the U and the V here so that like the red and the green are switching, right? I get the red to be on the horizontal axis, and then I would reverse the U. So I try to keep it where it matters, as much kind of oriented sort of how this is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the green is kind of going sort of north, and this is heading sort of east. And then normal is just perpendicular to the surface. So that's all the direction is. Let's see, direction for this guy. Hard to say which direction I'm actually looking at it in, or like working on it in, that it matters what direction anything is. But again, I'd probably just reverse the U, because I'm probably looking at it this way or this way. Which again, if I'm looking at my grids, it's like it's kind of going in the same direction. So all I did in sort of extend when I took these points at this point, let's say, and I was dragging it along this or this, I'm just literally the curve was like pretty much right on the surface, not exactly close. I just extended it just so it's a bit longer, like a cookie cutter. And
so that's better. That's better than extending the surface simply because you'll have one solid surface rather than two separate ones, right?
If you can extend the surface EXS. I do it sometimes, and usually type smooth. There's line or smooth. Usually I'm doing smooth. Merge. So you can do merge yes or no. So if you tell it merge no, if you just pick this back edge, just do something, it's just gonna make a separate surface.
Okay.
But if you EXS and do this, that surface, and then tell it merge yes, it'll just. Did I not pick an edge? I feel like I did pick an edge. You can just pick it and just drag it to wherever, and it's all the same surface. So yes, you can do that. I don't have a great reason offhand of why I would necessarily
not do it.
Do it the sort of more manual way. What the fuck? The directions are the same. So what? No, they're actually not the same, and I see why they're not the same. Okay, anyway, so I just do it that way. Yeah, I just tend to do it this way. I feel like it's more habit than anything, but they are the same. Yeah, and you can actually tell at a specific distance versus this is like a scale. They like to see the scale of 10.1. It's kind of a scale thing. I just know that it needs to be somewhat longer, but if there are cases where I need this to be exactly a millimeter longer for who knows what reason, or I could go in and say EXS, pick this back, and just move my mouse generally this way, Just tell it 1. Type 1 and hit spacebar, and it'll do it exactly. This is now exactly 1, but oops, it should be. It's going to be 0.995 because this is not an exact curve on surface. It's close to the curve on surface. That's why it's not exactly 1. But it did extend the surface exactly 1. So you could do so 1. So yeah, you can do that as well for sure. Probably a little faster than dealing with this. So, oh, and then you would just want a real quick loft from here to here, just to have that guy off. Straight sections is fine. But then up on surface 1, let's say. So we got all that, and these guys are patched or like. So then the only other thing, so if I this the top, the bottom, and this little side guy. Okay, so the only thing we're missing is something like see if you can see it here. It's basically something that kind of goes in here, like basically like this. You have this whole sort of band, right?
Yeah.
Or sorry. Yeah. I'm just gonna join these just as like one object to pick. So we basically just need something from here to here to like kind of finish that band. So I'll just loft again from there to there. That should be fine. The direction doesn't really matter. It shouldn't matter. There. Just join that. So you very much have like a cookie cutter, right? You have this guy. Colors. It's a little complicated of a cookie cutter because you got these little weird things.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we should be good. Hold on. What am I thinking of here? Something is funny here. I think I need to extend this to. Because we can't create a solid. Oh, right. Sorry. So the command I'm trying to use is called create solid.
Yeah.
Which is basically like a bunch of overlapping surfaces can be.
As long as it's closed.
Everything first, it'll auto trim it for you, but everything does have to be sort of like closed. So
yeah.
The thing that we're missing really on this side, it's like basically this thing would close except for this opening right here and this opening right here. So we're going to close this opening with the lens screw, something I recently started doing is I'm going to call this O2. I'm going to call this O1. Just because you do the lens first, like I know of no project that I've not made the lens before I made the frame because I don't know how it would work otherwise. You'd be kind of guessing. But anyways, so with the lens, hopefully there's a pool for the lens groove. Turn it on. So this is just that thing we made.
Yeah, should
based
be
off the lens, right? So
not 1 mil anymore.
Yeah, I don't. What
Is that mine?
Therefore, but
because it's that could be mine because you added the flat surface.
Oh yeah, maybe.
That will be mine.
Okay. So then, yeah, what I might, or what I did, well, so what I tend to do, let me do it this way. Let me just extract this and this. Everybody.
That might make the lens too small, by the way. I think.
Oh, right. That's what the lens was only a millimeter. So let's do that. Let's do this.
There was. I think we did remake it. Well, you remade it. I just watched.
Let me make that the 2 millimeter. Let me see here. Let me just look at the lens. It's
could be that white one.
Yeah, this guy. Okay, so yeah, what I would do, let me just extract that surface and then this is just on surface, is that? Okay, so I think this is I'm gonna get rid of that and just do it again. So there's our lens, and let's see where the curve. Just trying to remember where your curves were. This curve. I think it's That's too many. Um, that almost looks like it. I'm just gonna check the construction plan and not delete that. Okay. Okay, so that looks like it. And I'm gonna put that up on lens curve. Oh, let me turn that on. It'll probably already be there. That's my bad. Okay, so let's see. Oh, yeah. I don't want either of those right now. Those are similar but not the same. Let's see if I
think one was rebuilt.
yeah, I wanna see where the seams are. There's a seam here, a seam here at the bottom. So I'm gonna assume that I probably redrew this one.
Yeah.
But
I remember you mentioned that you tend to start drawing curves at the bottom.
at the bottom, right. Let's see. So let me look at this relative to the drawing, or the like orthographic, which is here somewhere. Ortho. Yeah. Okay, that's it. With that one. Okay, so it was already there. It's not bad. So if we take this guy onto our, this is on our lens. Okay. Okay. So high front. That's beginning to load them. Thank you. So I'm gonna take this guy, project it onto this. Yes. I think this is the perpendicular line I must have drawn.
Yep.
Just see. Yeah, it's there. Or on my construction plan. Yeah, that's the line. Just don't write down as it looks like. Okay, so then let's put this there. So then pretty much can hide everything except that. I'm gonna hit P to go to plan view, so I'm looking like directly at this like off-axis plane.
Yeah.
And then offset this guy at 0.5. I'm still gonna just continue working on the correct layer there. So then we're gonna dimension this guy from this quad to, nope. What the fuck are you possibly measuring to? It's 54.5. It doesn't matter right now. So you don't happen to know what size this lens is, do you?
You go zoom out and go to, if you show the drawings, there's a top drawing.
Oh yeah, okay. This guy.
Maybe no, there was maybe look from the top down. I don't know if it's maybe been deleted. Have a look. It was a 2 base or 3 base, one of the two.
Okay. No, I mean it's not a big deal. The only I mean you're right to this.
We're talking about the thickness of it.
No, really, just because normally this number ends up at some point someone wants this to be like a whole number. They want it to be the 54 or 55. I believe in half sizes are okay, like a 54.5, but nobody agrees. So my guess is I mean, it doesn't really matter that much, to be perfectly honest. So what I do in these cases is I'll just bump this out to 55. And I'll scale. Yeah, I can just do it in 2 dimensions. I'll just scale it in 2 dimensions from here over to quad, shift, and then just do that there. So I know it's a 55, and then I'll dimension from top to bottom. This dimension, I'd say, truly doesn't matter. I will usually try to get it to a single decimal versus to 2 decimals, like a 9.0 versus a 9.1 or something, but
yeah,
it doesn't matter. So I'll take that.
And is it, and the reason for it being whole numbers instead of halves, is that just like a pedantic thing, or is that more?
It's largely pedantic. Yes, it's very much that. It's just people are like, well, if it's not 55.0, and then I go to measure it from the factory and I put my calipers on it, and it's never going to be exactly 55.
Okay.
Just over, just under. Then for them, it just gives like a much more obvious, like what it should be kind of thing.
Yeah.
And plus, in like Illustrator land, there would be almost, it's like you can just force it to be 55 so easily that you just never would not do that, I guess. So I think that's probably, so it's very much like a software legacy kind of thing, but it doesn't matter because you're just going to give this to a machine to cut it out and it's going to fit. So, so that's the front lens that I don't really need to do right now. I need to actually offset this guy 1 that way. And I'm going to project this actual lens onto that. Or actually, I'm going to, sorry, is this group or solid for some reason? Don't know why that's solid, but okay. So I'm going to trim that guy. Sorry. Go away. Okay. Because really, I just want this edge of this offset. This is like a lens that's, should be a lens, yes. That is offset 1 millimeter from the outside surface of the lens, so I can get the center surface. So I can pick that and extrude it on both sides, 0.1. So I can get that. That's what I actually want. Not need that. Yeah, I don't even need this other little surface. I really just want this little rim surface that's there.
Yeah.
Now we're going. Sure. And then from here, what I'll do is go back to my lens normal again. Size find this bit. Just take a line kind of wherever, just somewhere toward the top. Just here, project it onto this thing. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Sorry, I should offset this to not solid. Not solid. Thanks. Okay. So let's see from here. Project onto these guys and to this little thin guy, so that I can then draw a line from there to there. There. Sorry, what? Oh, I'm doing all this shit out of order. Hold on, sorry. Give me a second. Okay, I have that, and I have to offset it back again. Oh, that's why. So I'm just, so this is the initial projection. I know because it's not the one that's dimensioned. So I tend to make that one red just so I know not to use it. So that when I go back and offset, then you want to offset this guy 0.5. And I'm just going to trim that. That's what you want to end up with before you project this line. So you have a. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So So then I'm gonna this all that shit. Awesome. Okay. To there. You and you can live there. Okay, so then you just sweep to there's this. Everything is all backwards. Good. Close poly surface. So that's that guy. And then what are you on? Here for the nose pad. Got it. Okay. All right, so then for the lens groove, all you want to do is drag and copy these surfaces to this layer, like the lens, that. And then technically speaking, you'd want, how do you guys feel? Let's see. Okay, so technically speaking, let me turn the front back on. You would want, because this is like a flat sheet that's been bent into shape, basically.
Yeah.
Your lens groove, extrude curve, this front edge in this direction, not both sides. So normally, if it's an injection molder frame, like this wants to be like pretty much dead straight, or like or it wants to be like this, like very slightly flared out, so you have some draft.
Yeah.
The mold can open. If someone is challenging me on this, I guess I would basically where did my construction planes go? I'd kind of go to that normal construction plane, that one that's like relative to the lens.
Yeah.
And I'd probably just extrude it in that direction. You can go, usually I go 3, just to be really safe that it's going to poke out. Because the lens is never just set any deeper than that. And then from here, you could pick this front row of stuff and use the move normal command and just go 1. You could go to set this to point 1 and drag it over like 3 times or something like that, just so you got something.
Yeah.
I guess that's the most technically accurate way to do it. For what you're doing, it does not matter.
Do they normally pop in? Do they normally pop the lens in from the front or the back?
From the front, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It can be done from the back sometimes, maybe 30% of the time, but it's usually not much fun at all.
Okay.
And then you take the back one, and I tend to go, I think usually 10 to 15. It's, in this case, I know your nose pad isn't that deep, and this is going to for sure, there it is. Like it's going to be longer than it, so I can do it to 10 minutes, fine. And here again, I'd probably just pick these guys, and maybe I'd set this guy to 1 and just give it a little bit of that. And then pick the red stuff, join that. That makes sense. I should just have the 2 blue edges because those aren't joined to anything. Okay, so then what I would do here, let me turn off the curves. We don't need those. Okay, I hit save. And I would, so you can use this as part of it. And then, we actually have a surface. Oh yeah, we lofted it. So we should be able to pick all these surfaces and type create solid, and it should work. Let's try. Hide the curves real quick. All that stuff. Yes, create solid. It did not like that. Why did you not like that? Let me see if I can just Boolean split this guy and this guy. this guy. That often works. But I would also pulls that. Yeah, for sure don't need that. What is this? So wouldn't need that. Just hide the lens screw. Let's make a new layer. I've been doing this too. So it's just like kind of a dummy layer to, I gotta not be on another layer to hide stuff. Okay, so in the model, we hide the lens screw. Okay, cool. Oh, that's why. See this little gap right in here? I think that's our problem. So let me just, this surface I put in here isn't really big enough. Show you, but these two separate surfaces. How are they separate surfaces? How are they not? No. Right, because I didn't trim that. Do it. Yeah, that Boolean was weird, and I don't know why.
That means it's open now, right?
Yeah, and I don't know why I believe that is the case. Hold on a second. Let me do track surface. This one. What fonts do? Whoa. Fantastic. So then, okay, so what I wanted to do though was, I was able to cut that out so cleanly once upon a time. Well, anyways, I was thinking that for the surface one, you want to walk from like this guy to this guy. But here, I'm just going to do this. So do line. Just drawing a line to make something like that. So that's a bit longer than everything. Do this up to there. Okay. That should more than cover it. I don't remember what those were for. We can let that go. Okay. I don't need right now. Okay. So I want to see if we can get all this do it. Oh. I feel like there's a way.
Do you need to, you know, the surface? Because you, those two, close them.
Yeah, that's what I was exactly wondering. Good thinking. Okay, so then I definitely can Boolean split that one with that one. Okay, that's what I was hoping for the first time I cut the lens group out. Now, should Let's see if I see. Okay, so that's the other part of the problem. So is this. Let me just do this real quick. I need to extend this more. That's where the hole is still. So if we look at this guy from the back, this is the one where it's like it's kind of inset pretty far. It kind of doesn't need to be inset quite that far because it's the nose pad area, I guess is what I'll say. And like you don't even necessarily have to extend it along its control. Like you can really just move it straight back. Fine. Let's see here. This one probably doesn't need to be forward. That is the problem. And again, to me, as long as these guys are inboard of this at all, it's going to be fit pretty okay. And you can always adjust it later if it feels funny. But okay, so that I think was a critical problem. So let me pull this out. Curve. Push this back in. Okay. So now, lens move. There's that guy. And then let's see. Let's do that. Oh. I feel like it's something with this. That is fussing. That cookie cutter cutting everything. This. Sorry, what? Just gonna see if maybe that's the other thing. Okay, so then that'd be one other thing is probably maybe these on the back. Yeah, it's definitely cutting through like these little divots, right? The little nose cone divot, like it's definitely cutting all the way through right here. That's good. Yeah. But then up here, it's not. I think that's why this is fucking up. So I'll take this and this. Go with that.
So move that completely out.
Yeah, or just like this just wants to like I'd probably take just locally these 3 points and do a UVN thing, and that looks like, man, it's hard to tell. Negative green direction, so that would be this way. Sure, there's plenty. This one be the same. Okay. Let's make sure this guy's looking through there. So that then I should be able to then do that loft I was trying to do initially before I do that plane. Now these are pretty solid between this. There it is. So it says created one solid. It's not very obvious when it does it, but it does it.
Okay, so it keeps the surfaces, right?
Yeah, by default create solid. It like sort of makes a duplication of the surfaces. Oh, which God. We'll see how it goes, but basically in here, just want. Sometimes I am filleting. and I'm on at this level, I will fillet this first.
Just to get it like.
So that I'm basically cutting through the fillet versus having the fillet to figure out what to do at the end of this surface, which should be obvious, but it's not human, so it's not obvious sometimes. So for example, I would probably put a fillet in here that is maybe 1, but probably not a rolling ball. I almost never use a rolling ball. I always.
That's new to me. What's a rolling ball?
So rolling ball is just, let me just do this. So rolling ball fillet, let's see, just do 1. So this back to rolling ball. Hold on 1 second, just do this. Okay. So rolling ball does this, just exactly what you'd expect. But so it's like if you measure the radius, it's going to tell you it's exactly 1. Awesome. But and then so this distance is called the chordal distance. It's the chord.
Yeah.
Right. So it's 1.414. It's some mathing. So but if I do fillet edge, set it to 1, I tell it distance between rails. That's basically a chordal. That's what they should call it instead of distance between rails. But okay. So if I measure that, then that's 1. So then the difference here is essentially if I extract the surface in this, or just so you can see the difference. I'm just going to rotate this 20 degrees, let's say. Same here. Okay, so copy those. Right. Okay, so let's join these again. So if I do a rolling ball fillet now that I have this angle in here, right? It's still going to measure 1, but the chord is probably not. It's now not that same 1.4.
Yeah.
And then in here, oh, sorry, that was this one. Yeah, that's the chordal, and if I do that one, then this is the so radius should still be 1. Chord. Yeah, it's not the 1.414, it's 1.14. So
yeah.
The real thing is like if you have, especially when you have compounding surfaces like this, like curves hitting curves and stuff in space, in an extreme case, this is going to get this radius is going to change, even though basically the only time to ever use, in my opinion, the only time to ever use a rolling ball is when you have a 90 degrees. That's when it will do what you are expecting it to do. If it's anything else, the radius isn't what you thought it was, basically. Versus, and I can't, yeah. So to me, it's like to keep a nice, even, consistent fillet, no matter what is happening, use a chordal fillet or a distance between rails fillet.
Okay.
And this probably isn't quite extreme enough, but let's see if we can get it. So if we just say that, retell it, rolling ball, tell it from 1 to 1, you can already see, right? Like this little arch it's putting is much smaller than the one it's putting there. So if we just do that, right, even though it's the radius of this is 1, it's just that it has to like kind of stretch out wider.
Yeah.
So down here, it's, well, let me make this fair. If I just drag that on iso curve towards bottom, its chordal distance is 0.638, and up here it's 0.4. So, and you can see it's pretty meaningfully wider here than here. Versus if you did 1, hold it distance between rails, it's the same the whole way, because what's governing it is the width as opposed to the radius value. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
So just ran to get a jumper, but I was listening. Yeah, no, I do. I'm completely with you. Because I often find with rhino, while I'm filleting, it causes absolute chaos. Does this alleviate?
I'd say there's very much like a way to do it in rhino, and sometimes there is no way to do it. Like it just will not fill a certain thing. It's just not great at that sometimes. And there's usually a workaround, but I submit that there shouldn't be a workaround. You shouldn't have to do that stuff, but welcome to Rhino sometimes.
Yeah.
That is, I'd say that's one of the places that occasionally will fall on its face. So usually back here, this one's much softer. So I'd probably throw in like, 2 or something like that. And also I'd kind of see, like, just turn the preview on and just see. Sometimes what'll happen is this edge right here, this end of it will start to get into this guy. And that's when it's just fuckery. Just class fuckery. Trying to get some of that to roll over. But you just want this one to be sharper or softer rather, so it doesn't bop someone in the head basically.
Yeah.
Do
you know what the reason to why when you fill it and it fails and it gives you those like pipes along the edges?
Yeah, that like run off into infinity or whatever.
Is that solely just to show that it's not worked?
No, basically what it is I'm trying to think if one of the other files I have open does.
Or is it almost to allow you to go like trim it away and then build onto it in a way?
That's partially it. It's I'm trying to think if any one of these ever did that. I didn't feel it.
Is this your adjusting aviator?
Yeah, it actually, this one isn't going to have the adjustable temples, but yeah, I've basically been updating the shape to be more like this and less the big round thing, this thing that it currently is. It's too big, step one, and it's just too much. It's not quite right. But yeah, I was trying to see if I had one where I had a surface that does that. Sometimes even on very blocky type, not point sculpted surfaces, it will do that. And it's basically like it's trying to figure out, like it's basically drawing a spline like a pipe.
Yeah.
And it's losing something. Like part of it's like, oh, I don't understand that this is tangent and I should follow this, and it'll just curl back on itself or whatever. It's trying its best, but it just doesn't know how. And that's usually what that's an indication of. So I have to either do it manually or give it a better trim that pipe curve it's trying to make and just make a better one.
Do you treat that like, your almost that frame? Do you treat that like an acetate build as well?
Yeah, this one is very much we're treating like. Let me see if I have this front real quick from like 18. Yeah, like. Oh, that's the wrong color. But anyways, yeah, it was initially intended to be 3D printed so that we could do something markedly more complicated than even this little pocket. That had like where this little pill thing is, like this was actually cut out, and like there's a piece that popped through here, like just something that would be just no fun or very expensive to mold. Oh yeah, plus this guy. If we were having a pop through on this guy at one point as well. So yeah, but we've decided to just sort of simplify this piece and just make it acetate. It's not heavy enough. It's not valuable enough as a 3D printed part. Pretty much nothing on this frame is valuable enough as a 3D printed part, except for the part that's going to live here, the front part of the temple, the chuck, will be 3D metal. And even this, I'm debating whether this should be a factory just stamped metal piece. Or whether I'm actually going to thicken this up to make this 3D printed nylon to come into this guy, which is going to be just traditional molded TPE part. So
and those the other, I can see the other side of the temple. You've got those like 4 chamfers that lead on. Did you just sweep below and then
these guys here?
Did you just built that all manually, right?
Oh yeah, it was super no fun. It was we'll say a cavalcade of curves on this inside of just trying to get.
It looks very nice though.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it definitely turned out quite nicely. Like it blended out to nothing exactly how we wanted it to. But it took a bit of doing to figure out where the sections had to be to actually blend these things. And then figuring this out was an adventure. But yeah. But yeah, part of the game. But yeah, just figuring out how to get this to all fucking resolve is something special. Special slice of hell. So yeah, for this guy, so then from here, as I look, probably went a little too far. I think what I normally do is the bottom is like 1, like I'll take this curve and bump it up 1. I think on the top one, it's usually more like a half, and I think that's what I forgot. But I'm gonna find the curve real quick and just.
You tend to keep history on for when you do this, so you can just.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Just redo it.
Yeah, I find that it's just faster, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this. Okay, there's curve. So like this guy really ultimately wants to be like. It's curve up there. Yeah, probably wants to be more like where that middle ISO parm is happening. Yeah, it ends up landing like right on that middle ISO curve. So here, I'll just make this one green. When I send it to you, you can or patch that guy back in there. You just explode this all, relock this surface, and just do everything again, and it should be just fine. So at this point, so then now what I'm thinking about is in that that top view. Where did the drawings go? Top bar, hinge. Oh, okay. So yeah, just looking at this again. Really. And do this, just I'm thinking in the right direction. Okay. So if I'm thinking about this, kind of the right side. I'm just looking at where this gray line is, pretty much. This. Okay. So yeah, it's like the front's probably a bit on the thick side for now, but so with this type of front, this is just not a butted end piece. I mean, I guess that's butted, mitered, but it's not wrapped. So yeah, this would be a butted end piece. So a lot of times what's actually happening despite the drawing, when you have that, is they're basically just kind of coming in like this. I'm sorry, I can't. What the fuck? Can I just rename this, please? That's really what I'm in the market for, is to rename this fucking layer. Out of that command and rename this layer. Thank you. Okay. Is to just, I would probably go in and like duplicate this back edge. Then they're really just doing sort of this. 5, 6, 7. Okay, so smash those flat. All right, stacked, but that's where I'm losing my mind. Okay, so if you look at this guy from the side, right, like just based on just all the sort of lens offsetting stuff, we've ended up with a surface over here, right? That's like a rectangle, like a trapezoid rectangle, sort of. But even this is a curve. Like this back edge is a curve, and this front edge is a curve. Usually, the front edge has to be a curve just by virtue of eyewear, but typically this back edge is not, so that the temple can be.
So it's flush almost.
Yeah, so it's like flush, like here, right? Like exactly. So you've got this angle, which is really a curve, but and then this would probably be a vertical line. Now, so yeah, this is so basically if this end piece right here, if it's just like this and this doesn't really like extend back to here, or say, like they would call, if it extended back to here, that would be like they would call that a stacked end piece because you're adding a little piece on here before this hinge thing happens.
And that's where they like bend it round, right?
Well, that's a wrapped end piece if they bend it like that. Like they'll kind of leave like from the front view, the way that they would mill this out of the acetate, it's like here and it jogs down and it'd be like a tongue off of here. Then they would heat that and wrap that. So that's a wrapped end piece. That's a very it's the kind dated look. Not too many frames do that these days. I'm sure it'll be back eventually, and I hope that never happens, but it will. So for these, so instead, so it's basically like what's kind of drawn is basically sort of like that. So it's like a barely stacked end piece. Because of the detail that metal inlay that's there, right? This guy. And there's nothing to say that this can't live on it if this gray rectangle was like actually stretched back even a couple millimeters. There's nothing to say that this would look stupid just sitting there. You know what I mean? Just because it's not perfectly like framed up or whatever, and it's not perfectly framed up anyway because this necessarily has to be a curve and lean forward. So I'd fight a design director tooth and nail about that. So let me see what you. So there are a couple ways to do it. So just like we, like over here, how we sort of on the back side of the front, how we chopped out this nose pad to create, you know, we just, you know, this thing and sort of laid it in there. You could kind of do the same thing here because basically the shape that you're going to be cutting out here is typically like do this, that, say, all right. Might be like. It's sort of that. It's often like really like a true D shape. Let me do it. Say 5. It's really more like this kind of shape more often than anything else.
Because it almost looks like an extrude, and they're just like filleted around it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's usually it's another very standard piece just based on the height, the vertical height of the end piece. This way that there's a lot of just standard nose pads that they mill out a thing, they laminate, butter it in there, and then they go back to milling. So it's the same kind of thing where they will take this thing and then and they'll just sort of do like, let's just say it's like that, something like that, you know, and then the temple will begin from whatever distance back they've chosen this to be. Oops. All right, it's 2 pieces. Just from that, show back out again. So for me, so like from a process standpoint, before I'm even like trying to get it to look to exactly like what might have been drawn in Illustrator or sketched by hand, I'm just making like a fit model just to make sure it's like that the panto is the panto tilt is right, and that like I've got a head curve that makes sense. Like it's not that this end piece isn't like back here and it's like some sport fashion thing or something weird. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to do all that, get the architecture laid out before I even mess with. Not that this frame is not particularly. This is like the detail basically. But before I'm trying to work too hard on getting shit like this fade, blend, blah blah blah, right? It's like I'm just printing out the frame to make sure it's going to work. Like it just fits on a human head first. So that is often lost on most clients, which I guess is why I'm the designer and they're the client. But yeah, that happens all the time. So even for now, it's like even if you just leave this guy parked back like even a half mil or something, which is about where it is. Let's see here. Those in the same plane. Okay. Yeah, it's like I might think. So then the other. Let's just do this. Just solid. Just so we can boolean this together. I tend to make these things like instead of just dragging it until I know it's going to cross, I'll like look right down here at this number because it's moving as my mouse moves. I'm like, oh, and there, like, okay, so probably 5. And that way it's like I've gone in later and sorry, real quick. There's a setting for this, and I do not remember where it is. So when I make this, when I take a curve and I extrude it, it's just see how there's no ISO curves on it. It's just this, right. There's a setting for this where so basically I'll say to fix that. I just explode it by hitting JJ, and then I just hit J again. Now I have my ISO curves, and I just don't think about it too much. There's a way to get it to extrude into poly surfaces, but an extrusion is kind of like say special surface in Rhino. Just be advised. If a trouble surface is giving you trouble and you extruded it, you might have to explode it and then rejoin it for it to behave like a truly normal nerve surface, I guess is the way to say it. Anyways.
That's a flaw with Rhino rather than.
Yeah, in certain respects it is. I've called tech support and asked them, like, why the fuck is it extruding this weird extrusion surface and not a poly surface? Or like they're just a surface? Like, oh yeah, it's a setting, and I don't think it's in here. It's like in the settings. It's not like one of the like command line settings for some reason. Just legacy shit, we'll say. But it's like it's kind of basically doing that. Hold on, let me put a the thing. Do I have? I do. Let me just do this real quick. Layer. Anything. Just bringing this. This is a fast way to bring a material over. Assign that. Copy. Paste. Okay. Delete it. So now on this layer, front. This might have already been in there for all I know. There we go. So now it kind of looks like acetate. So if you go into rendered mode, you get some general sense of it, even though the UVs are fucked, but you can fix that later. So, or real quick, since we are recording, I can show you. So if I just wanted this to look generally like the thing, if I pick both of these objects, front view, mirror them just so I have the whole. Just group them real quick. I have a thing for this actually. Hold on, let me see if it's in here. Nope, it's too old. No. So this is the third one. Okay, so let me do this real quick. This file's huge. In my newer-ish default file, I have a UV thing. Okay, it's only 388 megabytes. It's not that big. Eyewear most recent. Where did we use? Okay, this is.
And that's to.
So this is going to help me. All right, we're below the surface. Okay. This is going to help me lay out. Where is the image for this? Sorry. Right. Can we scroll up or down? Let's grab a bit more. Yeah. Okay. And let me. I don't know if that file is going to pack itself in the Rhino file, so let me just send you that real quick.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Hey, Windows Explorer, let's do the thing. Let me just double check where that was. That was in the DOM show. Okay.
So your day to day,
Uh-huh.
what do you spend? What do you spend most of the time on? Is it just a bit of? Does it vary from?
Oh yeah, it varies. I mean, some days I'm doing a ton, like what feels like a metric ton of 3D modeling. Other times I'm just talking with my business partner a bunch to strategize if we need to do more advertising stuff This is for the UV. I don't want to create a unique editable copy. Please don't ask me. Let me just zoom in just to make it smaller and put the mouse at the top of that. Okay. Just, you know what? I should have that. Put the plane on the plane. Okay. So that should fix that. So sorry, were you asking me? Oh, my day-to-day. Yeah, so sometimes it's a ton of 3D. Sometimes I'm just in meetings a lot of the day. But I'm doing 3D most days, which to me is design. Like it's not like I'm just CAD jocking. Like no, I'm designing. Like I'm figuring shit out in 3D as I go half the time. Because based on what I've been given to start from or whatever. So for me, it's not like sketching, but at least as effective because I'm not guessing at anything. Okay, so we have this. Oh, so right, I was going to UV this. Let me hide these curves to the front real quick, and this will probably be the last bit I can do for today. So if you just wanted to, it's a little confusing because it's not the same toward this. Give me 1 second. Let me just do this real quick. Let me make it. We'll call this or EV is Don Betcher. It's a friend of mine's brand. Can I put it on now? Is block, but we want so those acetates we want.
Do you render on Keyshot on Rhino?
It's rare. But yeah, it's pretty rare. But I'm sorry, did I not change the name? I remember changing the name of this quite distinctly. Dash DV. Thank you for doing that. Okay, so we're going to go to this. Yeah, I mostly render in either Marmoset Toolbag or in Blender. But I may switch to Keyshot, which I don't like saying out loud in sentences, but because I had not a great experience once upon a time with them. But I'm learning that I may have to humble myself and just use it anyway. Because the reason is because in Toolbag and in Blender, you know how if you make an eyewear frame, it's probably going to come in 4 or 5 colors.
Yeah.
There's no variant manager.
Okay, so like multi-materials essentially.
Right, exactly. So
yeah.
And it's really just it's about how manual the process can be, basically. So and it's purely that, like, just because if I have to do like 6 colors and 4 views of each color, it's like I'd rather be able to set that up and walk away versus I can set up each color and get that cue to run, but then I have to apply the next colors, that kind of thing. It's stupid, but it's where we are in 2024. So my thing is I have to look this week to see if I can get someone to write me a plugin for Toolbag or Blender, doesn't really matter, to just facilitate that. But it doesn't always, who knows how long that might take. Shouldn't take long because everything is there, but it just needs like a new container. But anyway, for these guys, I'm just going to pick these guys and move them. I don't know others. Of either of these, there's. All right. Group those. Gonna move them down.
You tend to build the frame on the base on the.
Yeah, they tend to sit. Let me see if this is
because I was noticing that it seemed that all of my is a bit lower. So
yeah, it's like I tend to build them like sort of the red axis is right here. There we go.
Okay.
I tend to build them like above the red axis and top view and sort of behind the scene axis. So they're kind of in this upper quadrant. It doesn't really matter. It's just so I don't have to end up moving this stuff. But
Yeah.
you just kind of nudge these guys around real quick. I'm just trying to fit this guy in here so that the mapping makes sense. This is the Dom vector blonde. Okay, so all I'm doing now is I'd pick this stuff. Oops. What just happened? Hold on a second. Just trying to train that little. If you ever see this little arrow, this little crosshairs guys hanging out there still from the lens,
you're on the wrong sheet plane.
It's just because this guy's highlighted. So if I dehighlighted it or deselected, it'll go away. It took me. I did not know that till like 3 years ago. I've been using Rhino for 20 years, or 15 years. So I pick all that stuff and I go to the front view because that's, in this case, probably where the projection is happening from. And you're going to pick texture mapping. And I feel like there should be more options. There they are. And we want planar mapping. So you click that button. And it wants to know first corner of the plane. So that's going to be here. And I'm going to come up to here. So textures or image maps want to be square, usually. I think that's correct. Let's see. And that almost looks correct, but not quite. So hold on. So what you can do to check your UVs, because I tend to do them on this little square, but you can do them on any of them. So if I pick UV editor, so what's weird is you can put the UV editor anywhere. I'll show you what I mean. So if I put it from here to, I don't know what that is, but okay. Right, yeah, okay. I'm gonna cancel that. That's why it's so stretched. So what's happening? Planar mapping. Here to here. Other UV, UVW. UV is fine. So why do the UVs look like they're off into infinity? Because why are we stretching it that far? What the fuck's happening? Entirely at a loss. This is not Rhino's strongest suit. I'll say that. Oh, maybe this is why. Maybe we need to be in the front view. That's not the problem.
Is there something selected far to the right?
I don't think so. Let's see. Tell me I have 4 poly surfaces. I'm going to set that to the front.
If you click bounding box quickly, what happens on the whole thing?
That's a good question. I don't. Let's see. Oh, you know, maybe if I'm going to hit delete mapping first. Okay, I've deleted the mapping. It would appear. Let's see. First corner of rectangle. I think I want it.
There's nothing to do because you're not in the front plane, right?
But that's weird. See how it's doing that? That's
weird.
So hold on, let me do planar. There it's fine. See, now it's fine. So there. Right, that is U, that is V, that's fine. Okay. I mean, I can do it. That's
the
like
same thing.
Super stretch. So let me see if I just. A lot of times not this type of thing, but certain weird things will happen because like the original texture map for this guy is I was just given this, so an image that is not square.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously rectangle. So then I take it and I make it into a square, right? So it's like I'll put it at the bottom, there's white space, and I'll put it again at the top just for shits and giggles. But in texture land, image maps want to be squares for sure. Otherwise,
okay, so the white square doesn't mean anything.
No, it's it's really just dead space. So normally you just pick it and you're like, well, I want to plane or project it. This is my bounding box, basically. Like this is my
And
UV
you see your XY position has 47,315 at the bottom. It's nothing to do with that, right?
So it's like I should literally be there, and I should be able to just should be able to draw this again there. Okay, that's closer. I'll just say apply. But hold on a second. Holding down Shift. But now it's doing that weird. It's got this proportion sort of locked in there, right? Like it's really wide. Yeah, man, it's like this is working. Oh, I don't have that file open, but this works fine. Yes. I've definitely had to do very unexpected, strange things. So I'm like, no, I like to won't delete the mapping sometimes. I'm like, why is this hard at all? But I mean, it's tortoise-esque for now. I'll figure it out between now and next time we talk why it's being an asshole. But so that's the basics of how UV mapping is supposed to work, but doesn't always in Rhino. Save that real quick. So the way I've been building temples, just real quick, just so you have something, so you can print this out somewhere. If you have access to a 3D printer?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So what I would do just real quick for the temple is just this. Let me just do
I think we have curves. I could be wrong.
Okay. Let me turn that down. Oh, you've already started it. That's right.
But I remember you said you build it straight and then wrap it around with flow along curve, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that definitely works. And sometimes you can also just sort of build it in that way, I guess you would say. I think I'm doing a paddle temple. What was I just doing? Oh, the other guy. Let's see. Let's do dual lens. Because I know there's a curve. This is the exact curve I'm looking for. It's back in space, but it's okay. So I'll move it up to there-ish. Over there. Some bit. So I'm not on a. I mean, this is a wrapped frame, that's for sure. Let me just grab a nose. Oh, you know what? I should have that and this at the same time. I don't know what's happening. Okay. Okay. So that will tell me approximately. Just I'm always using the back of the nose pad. Oh, that's something's not centered. Looks like my nose pad is not centered. Oh, I know why, because I moved the thing over. That's why. Okay. So I'm just looking at the depth. So just there-ish, something like that will tell me where this temple actually needs to end. More or less. And this is on the short side, I do know that. So there's probably another 5 millimeters worth. We did a little, we shortened this temple a little bit. Let's see. 20. So you could copy paste this, pull it up, say 20 big time. Okay. Right here.
So do you ever use the Create Solid tool for these either, or?
No, I use it to make the front. So I use it sometimes, just where trimming it is a pain in my ass. So yeah, I'll definitely use it sometimes. But there's other times where I'm just going to trim it out manually, kind of thing. It just may be easier or something. Oh, and you've got a hinge in there, so yeah, this probably isn't that wide. This is probably, if it's acetate, it's probably 4mm acetate. So, as opposed to the thicker. What? Oh, I get you in the realm of closeness. Okay. So we have a good curved temple in there, or temple curve in there. Let's rejoin this guy. Close. And in this case, I might do it sort of like that. Midpoints, I can do both sides. So yeah, you could definitely build it straight and then bend. I mean, but I'm literally just putting this in there just so you have probably something that's going to fit pretty good. And you could then from here just take your, even if this is a little long, okay. No one's going to die. That. So you, okay, so let's say you're just building it and flowing it. So you would over solid core. Because what this does do is facilitate you again, like sort of coming in with a curve and saying like, oh, okay, I want it to be to there, and then if I want.
Did you say you're using bend rather than?
No, definitely using
Flow along.
Yeah, flow along surface. Yeah, I think that. Hopefully, not what I meant to do. Okay. Let me just set these 5 and X there. There. Okay. So all I'm doing, the reason I'm doing that is just to do okay. Those for now. So this is for if you wanted to, like for this curve, if you just wanted the temple tip to be a little fatter, a little thicker, if you wanted to be able to control that is getting nice and thin and flexible for someone's head, or something like that. That's purely all what I'm doing. So yeah, I mean, you can totally play with this however you want. But if you just did that, and then let me think. So if you could cut it out, you basically like extrude.
And then just trim it, right?
Yeah, and then you could use your bender curves to just, let me think. That would have been, I didn't bend anything or flow anything there. This is the dual ends.
And you wouldn't just like take that cutout section, extrude it out, Y cut it with the top curve, and then just bend it around that.
Yeah, I think to do it all, get probably all as straight as possible, just to make your your modeling easier, and then just basically like to do it factory, do all the stuff first, and then they bend it more or less. There we go. But this one's shorter. But I'd say the main thing, I'm trying to remember why I had to use a surface to help keep the orientation on this guy, and offhand I truly don't remember what it was. It was just spinning off into infinity or something unpredictable, we'll say.
You tend to find that the bending is quite standard amongst frames.
Yes, very much so.
So it's never like, so you could essentially replicate this surface over into most models, like what you've just done now.
Yeah, very in many respects. So this one I would say is really more built for like, actually, you know what we could use is this one. Pull this guy out. Simple isocurve off of this guy. Do it. Go. This would actually be flatten those out. Let's move this down this way. Say, and a lot of times I'll like I won't do it all the way up to the hinge break, right? Because I want some flatness, and it's usually even more than 5. It's usually more.
Yeah.
That way I'm not fucking with a core wire or anything. You know what I mean? Just things that are gonna nearly certainly be straight or gonna stay straight, kind of thing. That way I know I'm just back from that. Okay, so where did the purple curve we go? Here it is. So what I would do is like this, this, we'll say this bend is that curve. Let's say you wanted to just put that down some more, so it's more like what yours is. So let's say that's correct. That's about like what you wanted to be doing. Then I'd be looking here to see if it's doing pretty much what you want to be doing there. It is. You probably don't need all these curves or that much. Set that flat. See, again, it's like a lot of this. In this case, you probably going to need most of this. Like,
yeah.
That's probably about how many to get this. So then it's like once that's there, then you can just fuss with these to like kind of get them feeling believable or good.
Yeah.
There. Be doing a little more of that. Let's just say. And I'm often looking at just at this curve and just kind of, it's really right in here where it's this little bit of kink in there. Will kind of tell you if you just want to nudge that guy just to get a little bit smoother. That's all.
Yeah.
Maybe. So then what I would do is just take this curve and say LN for length. So it's 130.885. I would just draw a line here. That distance. What?
Is that what? I guess this is why you use the surface, right? Because the flow along surface gives you that constraint with the distance.
Well, so there's my 130. So this is that straight, right? So the reason why the surface sometimes, like when you go to just flow a thing, it'll like it'll twist unexpectedly. So I'm really using just this little flat, little vertical surface just so that it knows, like, hey man, this point is this point, this point is this point. Like, don't try to flip this up to here or some shit and spin, twist apart or some dumb shit. Every now and again, to do that with just a curve for some reason, because curves do have like they have a direction, certainly, like, right, like that is its direction is back in this case. But it doesn't necessarily have up and down direction; it just has the one direction essentially. Sometimes it gets confused. Is the best way I can describe it. So, in the case of this guy, so now I know I have a curve that's straight, which represents basically this. Then I have a curve which represents what it's going to become. We hope, we believe. So, the only thing I'm noticing is just that this curve is just longer than this guy. Let's just, I mean, I know this is that. So let's do, find my layer that's on. And usually I'll go, green, I guess. Or like usually the yellow, that's confusing. Some orange instead of yellow. Gold. Yeah, okay. So it's, I know, it's like sort of caution to go. So it's, you know, that's all I'm trying to indicate with the colors in this particular case, is just which one I'm using first. So, so that, just a flow, that guy. It doesn't really matter what end. So this end's going to be a little harder to. That is on the end. Okay, so flow this from this end to this end. Okay. But I see a little bit of something, but it's fine. You know what I mean? Like for what you're doing, it's totally fine. You can always go back, delete it. I think there's history on this. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's history on it. So you can adjust it as you see fit. Good work.
And obviously, there's a lot of, as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of data in that curve.
Yeah, on the surface, yeah, there's a ton, but that's kind of nature of the beast.
Okay,
but
it doesn't
okay, because the only reason why having a ton of data is bad is if you want to edit that directly. But in this case, you wouldn't, because you're really just editing this curve. So it's fine that there's a bazillion points on this thing. That's okay, because you really can. The only reason it's bad is just for control, just the ability to actually manipulate it later. But you're just using a curve to do it, so it's fine. Or from a philosophical standpoint, that's why I would say it's totally fine. Make sure those are all on the same there. So yeah, that's how I would probably manage it. So again, it's like you can easily come in here and like run your fillets along this guy and get the temple tip to do what you need to do, which again, in a situation like this guy, definitely built in place. You know what I mean? I did not bend this, so if you turn all the ISO curves on, it's going to be pretty clean.
Yeah.
But it's like I built it in this position for sure, which made it a pain in the ass. But and because it's injected, I probably still would always do it this way for this piece, honestly. But again, we definitely had like a very breadboardy model first before we did any of this shit.
Yeah.
So
nice.
But yeah, man, just I'll send you this file shortly.
Yeah.
And you can mess with getting it sort of either joined up how you might want to, or Boolean together, just to try to print it out, just so you can put it on and feel it. Yeah, just tool around with it. You know, I guess you can go back and practice getting this upper surface right. Just to back up and see how it goes from there.
No, amazing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, happy to, man. I gotta hop off here. Check on the lady. but save this, and oh, it's not even big here. Just okay. Supposed to know what all this stuff is, but let me go to here, and I know it's here. It is. And I should really put it in.
Okay.
And
no, because that's a good starting point. Because you can also probably from that tackle another one. It's sort of
exactly
with and I think that was what was causing a bit of headache was you almost do one thing wrong and then the rest.
And then it kind of cascades into everything else. And you're like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
But so this is what because I'm kind of looking. I think some of the frames that you sort of showed me, some of a bit more rounded acetate. Is the premise very much the same, or something like that? Is that even more of a?
So this is actually I started this in Blender. Let me see if I have the. Yeah, I do. Turn off this guy and turn on. I don't. Oh, I think I took the nose pad out of that one or something.
Can you transfer sub D into Rhino from Blender?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That
started in like version 6. I want to say is when they added sub D. So I think I skipped version 6 and waited for 7. But yeah, this is so if I just hit that, if I hit tab, it'll like unsub D it, right? So it's like
yeah.
So it's very much like Moto uses tab to show the sub D. So yeah, it's like this is literally the cage. Well, this isn't, but sorry. This one is what I brought exactly from Rhino. And then I brought it in here, took the nose pad out because I have a separate nose pad hiding in here somewhere. Yeah, it's like this guy, little peg on the back, so it pops over. There's like there's different sizes basically, like that. And then so if you like, so for example, if I want to cut the hole out, right, like in these guys, like the way I was able to cut this out is that was 12. Oh, that's what I did. You basically just pick a thing. Just pick this. This is sub D, right? Open sub D, and you should say 2 NURBS.
Yeah.
And it'll so it'll leave the sub D there. So then it becomes this thing, and then you can do what you're normally doing to cut stuff out or add. Billets did not work that well on this, as I recall, on this particular edge for some reason. But for the most part, it's like having a NURB. Yeah, so sometimes it's easier, like for lens, like it's a little easier to iterate the shape, you could say, sometimes using Blender because of the live mirror and some of the shrink wrap tools.
Yeah.
And I might bring it back in and just like cut it, or I know I had to adjust this a little bit so they didn't bump into each other. But yeah, so it's like I was basically doing this at a different tempo than this initially. That was like, oh, it's kind of fatter and chubbier, I guess you would say. No, that's not it. I don't remember where the original one is, honestly. I may have deleted it out of this file, but it was more of it's like dead straight. It did not dip down at all, and it wasn't nearly as fat at the back as this guy is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the first time I ever tried it to really. That's not true. I use it for other stuff, but this is the. So I got to go in today and chop this thing up into colors to. I don't know if it will render. Like I had temples like this printed out like in these colors. Show them to you if I knew where they were. No. But like the full color printing technology, these are obviously for Pride. Sort of a basketball inspired one.
Is that the bike company?
What's that?
Who is this for? Is this?
No, just for just to sell. So I live like near Long Beach, California, in a suburb of Long Beach, where there are a lot of gay people, and so and also West Hollywood up in LA proper. There's just like a lot of gay people. So my business partner and I were talking about like, oh, we should do something for Pride. Duh, it's like Pride all the time. Like you can always sell that. Set up something to give some of the proceeds to the logical organization. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what that one was for. Or well, that's what it became for. It's not why I originally designed this, but yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, man. So you have all this stuff in the WhatsApp. Let me know if you have any trouble with getting this stuff loaded in or whatever. Not that this is important with the UVs and the textures at the moment, but just so you have it. And then here's the frame. So you should be good.
Sweet, amazing. Thank you so much.
And when I get this, let me.
There we are.
Stop sharing. I'll send you the link and upload it to YouTube like last time. Sweet.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. So yeah, have a good time banging around in there, and let me know when you're around, maybe next week or so. Sound good?
Sounds fantastic. Have a fantastic Monday.
No doubt, man. Have a good day, dude. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, I will, dude. See ya.
All right, man.
Bye.
Get it.